Okay, this is for Dan McClellan.
Hey, what can I do for you?
He's been answering question videos recently, which I was very excited about, not just doing reaction videos because I have questions.
All right, let's see it.
So, my question today is about the prophecy about Jesus. So, in Matthew, it says, like, they prophesied that he would come and they would call him Emmanuel. And then they say he was called Jesus. It's confusing to me that they're saying it like he fulfilled the prophecy of coming forth and being called Emmanuel, but he's called Jesus, and the two names don't mean the same thing. Jesus meaning salvation or God saves or something like that, and then Emmanuel meaning God is with us. So, like, why are they saying them next to each other like that as if it's the same thing when it doesn't seem to be the same thing? Why would he being named Jesus fulfill the prophecy that he would be called Emmanuel? It's so confusing to me.
Hey, thank you for a great question. So this is Matthew 1, verses 22 and 23, which is adopting and adapting a Greek translation of Isaiah 7:14. Now, in Isaiah 7:14, this is a sign that Isaiah has given to the Judahite king Ahaz to bring him comfort in light of his knowledge of the confederation of the northern kingdom of Israel with Syria. And it says, a young woman has conceived. This has already happened. She will give birth to a son. She will call him Emmanuel. And then it goes on to say, before that child knows his ABCs, the northern kingdom of Israel will be destroyed. So this part, which is not quoted by Matthew, is a prophecy about the destruction of the northern kingdom of Israel at the hands of the Assyrians in 722 BCE. So this entire prophecy is limited to the 8th century and has already begun with the conception of the child. 5 centuries later, this is translated into Greek for the Septuagint. In order for this to still be at all relevant to anyone in Greco-Roman period Judaism, we've got to tweak it a little bit. And so we don't get a young woman has conceived. We get a parthenos, which is more closely associated with virginity, will conceive. So we've changed the aspect from a completed action, something that is already done, to an incomplete action, something that is still off in the future. The author of the Gospel of Matthew picks that up and uses that to support the development of this notion of a virgin birth, but makes an additional change. In the Greek, it says a parthenos will conceive and will give birth to a son, and she will call him Emmanuel. Matthew changes that. They will call him Emmanuel, not Jesus' mother, not Jesus' father, who is the one who ends up naming him Jesus, but some unnamed they. And then in the only occurrence in all the Gospel of Matthew where the author does this, Matthew points out what the Hebrew means: God with us. Matthew is writing to folks who know Hebrew, so there's something significant about explaining the meaning of the name. So it's not the name that's important, it's the meaning of the name that's important. And most scholars would suggest that the prophecy is not fulfilled in Jesus being named Emmanuel, because Jesus is not named Emmanuel. But Jesus didn't say she will call him Emmanuel or he will call him Emmanuel. He said they will call him Emmanuel. And then we get the rest of the Gospel of Matthew, which is about Jesus manifesting God's power, authority, and presence to the world. The very last words of the gospel from Jesus are, I will be with you always. So the idea is Jesus as the authorized bearer of the divine name, as the one who manifests, who reifies the divine presence, divine power, and divine authority. God is with their people through the ministry of Jesus, who will be with you always, according to the end of the Gospel of Matthew. So the prophecy is fulfilled not in giving Jesus this name, but in the acknowledgement by the people whose lives Jesus blesses that God is with us through the presence of Jesus. And that is not a Trinitarian concept of Jesus as God, but what the New Testament authors likely understood about Jesus, that as the authorized bearer of the divine name, Jesus manifests the presence, the power, and the authority of God.